Hello everybody, welcome to the Ultimate Scouting Show. Thank you for joining me. Today we are going to be looking at Bijan Robinson, the running back out of Texas. We're going to answer the question, is he a generational prospect? He is darn good, so let's dive into it. Bijan Robinson was a 5-star prospect coming out of Tucson, Arizona. He had a million different offers. He visited Ohio State, USC, and Texas before eventually choosing to attend the Longhorns. He had a very productive freshman season during the COVID season. He played in 9 games, but he had 703 yards, which was an 8.2 yards per carry that season, which is just otherworldly. That's absolutely insane. He followed that up with a really productive sophomore season in which he had 1,127 yards. That was a 5.8 yards per carry, 11 touchdowns, plus he had almost 300 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns, showing he could do both it in the passing game and the running game. As a junior, he had over 1,500 yards on a 6.1 yards per carry, 19 rushing touchdowns, plus add in 314 receiving yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. This dude can absolutely do it all, and he proved it in Austin, Texas over these last 3 seasons. He recently declared for the NFL draft, so it's time to get a scouting report out on him, and man, is he a good one. The first thing that I look for in all running back prospects is their vision. This is the most important thing for any running backs, because if the offensive line blocks it correctly and you can't take advantage, that is a massive problem for a running back. Bijan has no such issues at all. He has some of the best vision I have ever seen out of a college running back. His ability to recognize the leverage of the defenders, the technique that you're taught when you're running at a tackle and you can go either inside or outside is look where the defender's head is. He does that so well. I don't think even one time I saw him misread the blocks. He understands the leverage of defenders really well, where he can burst up the hole, when he may want to cut it back. He just does such a good job of understanding, where he can get the most yards. Sometimes he bounces it outside and he picks up a huge gain. Sometimes he's able to just punch it through the hole and get the 3 yards that you need to pick up a first down. He understands the situation very well and understands where to go based on the blocks and the leverages of the defenders. You really don't see him ever pick the wrong read. That is so exciting to see, and that so easily translates to the NFL level. Another thing that's really exciting about Bijan Robinson is his size and his power. He's 6 foot, 220 pounds, definitely a bigger running back. We see a lot of these guys that are well under 6 feet, and even some guys that are under 200 pounds. Bijan is a big guy, and it shows. He runs people over. He fights through contact really effectively. His contact balance is really impressive. You'll see him stiff arm guys, you'll see him, juke pass guys too, but he has that power profile to him. And if you need him to lower the shoulder pads and pick up a couple of yards in a short yardage situation, he can certainly do that. He can make guys miss in space as well, using his power, and fight through weak tackles and pick up those extra, 3-4 yards by falling forward. Now, just because he is a bigger back, that doesn't mean that he doesn't have great acceleration and burst. Sometimes you see him just absolutely fly through the hole. He understands that that's, what it calls for in that situation, and he goes just flying through the hole. He also, once he gets going, really builds up some momentum and can get absolutely rolling down the field. It's awesome to see, and I think he can create really good separation between him and the defenders in a very short amount of time, just by his ability to, once he plants that foot in the ground, just absolutely go. And his acceleration is really, really good, especially for a back of his size. You don't see many guys that are, that big, 6 foot, 220, and able to accelerate and just burst like he can, and just blow by defenders that, may think they have an angle, and then all of a sudden he's right past you. So it's just very impressive, the speed to power combo there, where, he's a big dude, but he doesn't really lose out on any of that absolutely impressive burst. Also, his agility is absolutely awesome. You see him jump cutting all the time, whether it's to jump cut into another hole, whether it's to avoid a defender that's kind of flailing at his legs. He is such a good job change of direction. On this play right here, this is one of the craziest plays I have seen in a long time. He jumps cuts to get to the correct hole. The defender is looping around and gets to him. And all of a sudden, as soon as he jump cuts, he's jump cutting right back, makes him miss. It's just so impressive. You don't see many guys, even in the NFL, that can do that on a consistent basis. His ability to just plant the feet and change direction is so unnatural. It's awesome to watch. He's so good at it. And that just makes him so difficult to tackle, because as we already talked about, he's got the power combination with the speed, and now he can move like crazy. He can stiff arm you, he can run you over, he can spin spin move past you, it doesn't matter. You're going to miss when trying to tackle Bijan Robinson, and that is an awesome thing to see for a running back. Not to mention, after all of this, he is a great receiver. He has some really impressive wide receiver-like skills here. He's able to adjust to the catch downfield. He runs a really good route, threatening vertically, and able to adjust to the ball and pick up yards after the catch. He's so good at screen passes as well. You'll see him read the blockers very well, understand their leverages and where to attack and get upfield. He is a very dominant wide receiver, and I think that given the chance, he could turn into a real threat in that part of the game. He also does a very, very good job lining up all across the formation. He lines up at the running back running routes. He runs it from the slot. He'll run it as a legit wide receiver. I've seen him line up outside in the games that I watch. He is just so versatile in how he can become a pass catcher. He's a true 3-down threat because his receiving ability is so impressive. So that's really exciting to see. Moving on to a few cons, it was really tough to find any cons, to be honest. His pass protection technique could use a little bit of work. I think he has the frame and the willingness to be a very good pass protector, but he just needs to improve his technique a little bit, continuing to mirror, get in front of the guys and take them on rather than just, throwing a shoulder at them. But genuinely, I saw him have very impressive pass rush reps as well. There was this one play here where he just doesn't make the right read. He's a little bit late to understand his assignment, but generally speaking, if he's able to, recognize where the blitz is coming from, he's able to get over there and at least slow him down, which is good to see from a running back. You want to see that willingness, and he's certainly got the frame to be a great pass protector as well. The only other con I can really find is, though he is very fast, I'm not sure he has absolute top-notch breakaway speed on home run type plays. He certainly has the burst and the speed to break off huge chunk plays. That's not a concern at all, but it's not like one of those elite 40 times that I think he's going to have. Based on what, is kind of being reported, he's expected to run somewhere from a 4.45 to a 4.5 40-yard dash, which is very, very good for his size. That needs to be under consideration there. That's a really good time for someone of his size, but he does mean that he's not necessarily got this absolute top tier speed, but he makes up for it in so many other ways that I really don't think it's a problem. This guy is absolutely legit. He's the best running back prospect I have ever scouted. I think, going back to Saquon Barkley, it's very similar in their talent levels. Barkley went number 2 overall. Obviously, it's a different age of the NFL right now. A running back is not going to go 2 overall, but man, this dude is probably deserving of it. My final grade for Bijan Robinson is a 95.50. That is a top 5 grade. And, that doesn't really take into account positional value. And I think that that's important to note because nobody's going to be taking Bijan Robinson in the top 5. But from a pure talent perspective, how good is this guy at his position? I think he's certainly going to be maybe the best at his position in the entire draft. Him and Will Anderson, to me, are very, very close in their, actual prospect grades. This guy is awesome. I wouldn't hesitate taking him in the top 15, honestly. If I am a team that, really feels like they could use an offensive weapon, this dude is an offensive weapon. He could provide, the same kind of talent as Christian McCaffrey, who was drafted in the top 10, as Saquon Barkley, who was drafted in the top 10. These guys that, I think really have returned their value in the top 10. I think that's going to be this guy. And I'm not saying that, he should be going there because of the decline of running backs, but man, his talent level certainly warrants it. 20 years ago, this dude would probably be the first overall pick. So definitely exciting. Bijan Robinson, in my opinion, is a generational type player. I know that, people throw that term around way too lightly. This dude is. He is just a once-in-a-lifetime kind of running back prospect to me. He's so awesome to watch, and I really had a lot of trouble finding any cons in his game. So, awesome player to watch, definitely someone that I expect to have a long and very impressive NFL career. That's going to do it for this video. If you like NFL draft content, all other things NFL, please hit that subscribe button down below. It helps me out so much. While you're down there, hit that like button as well. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much. Bye.